Okay, चलो. So waiting का दिसतंय इथे. Waiting दिसतंय इथे. All right. So today we will be discussing the X factor notes of polity and governance, which forms the core of your GS paper 2. Now in today's session I will be discussing few of the things. The first one being the first one being the importance of GS2 in your UPSC Mains. The second thing is with respect to the importance of or this. Okay. The second thing would be why X factor. Okay. The second would be why X factor, and third, how to use the X factor. Okay. So basically we will be discussing upon these three things. Okay. What is the importance of GS2 in your means? Second, why you need to utilize the X factor notes, or why X factor is must in your UPSC 2, UPSC GS paper 2, or to maximize your score in UPSC GS paper 2. And third, how to utilize these X factor notes. Okay. So let's start with the first question as to importance of GS paper 2. Okay. So out of the 4 GS papers, there are only 2 papers, which is GS paper 2 and GS paper 4, where you have a very realistic chance of crossing 120 or even 125 as well. Okay. So because in GS paper 1, 120 is the maximum that you can think of. Only few, that is less than 10 people have crossed 110, 120 benchmark in GS paper 1, and in GS paper 3 the maximum target that you can keep is of 105 to 1010. Okay. The maximum target also we don't keep of 120 in GS paper 3, but in GS paper 2 and ethics, majority of the toppers in the top 50 ranks have crossed 120 marks. So your marks maximization, if you are targeting 450 in mains, so crossing 120 or 125 in GS paper 2 is absolute must, and crossing 125 to 130 in ethics paper is absolute must. Okay. Now to cross that 125 benchmark, what you need is the content. Okay. Not just the generic content, your content has to be precise, your content has to be very dense, and your content has to be unique. Okay. That means if the normal people are giving around 10 to 11 points in 10 marker, you should go to around 13 to 14 points in 10 marker and 20 to 21 in 15 marker. So first angle is the dimension coverage. The second aspect or the second angle of maximizing your score in GS paper 2 is the substantiation part. Okay. So first dimensions and second substantiation, that is you need to provide the data or examples, and the third is content depth and content uniqueness. Okay. So content depth basically will highlight the committee recommendations, specific Supreme Court judgments, that will highlight the depth of your knowledge, or the use of the scholar views or the quotes, that highlights the content depth. And uniqueness will involve basically the examples that you are putting. So giving the global best practices or state level best practices, that is what makes your answers stand out among the other answers. Okay, so and to get all of these three, that is to increase your dimension coverage by 4 to 5 points from 10 to 15, to ensure the substantiation of at least 80% of the points, and third, to bring depth and uniqueness into your answer, you need X factor. And only when you follow X factor, these three things will be covered, and only when these three things are covered, you will cross 120 mark in GS paper 2. Okay? So now let's start with polity. So if you see in polity X factor, the topics that we have covered. So basically, from the nature and philosophy of the constitution to the comparison of the constitutions. So each and every topic of the polity is covered here. And now if you go to the topic wise, okay. So first I will briefly summarize the idea behind the X factor notes. The first is to cover your static plus your current affairs. So in all the X factor that we have covered or we have released, we have covered the current affairs till May 2026. Okay, so whenever I will show you few of the topics, you will understand that we have integrated the current affairs also. So these are the most updated notes that are there in the market. ठीक है, इससे ज़्यादा updated आपको कोई मिलेगा ही नहीं, आपको current affairs का separate document लेना पड़ेगा. So there is not a single document in the market which has integrated both static and current affairs. ठीक है, so this is the first reason why you should follow the X factor notes. Second, the density of the notes. ठीक है, and without any regret or without any sorry, I can clearly say that X factor notes are the most dense material that is there into the market. तो जितना data, जितना substantiation, जितने examples, जितने dimensions, जितने हमने cover किए हैं, उतने बाकी किसी भी notes में आपको मिलेंगे नहीं. On an average, under every heading, we have provided you 8 to 9 points, along with substantiation of minimum of 80 to 90% of the points. ठीक है, so आपको लिखने बस 6 ही है. We have given you 8. जब आप 8 पढ़ोगे तभी actual exam में आपको 6 याद आएंगे. ठीक है, so this is the most dense. And third, X factor notes has the lowest irrelevant content. Okay. So unlike other notes where there is the elaboration of 3 to 4 lines for every point, the maximum of the points in the X factor notes are covered in maximum of the 2 lines. Okay. So if you see any points, you will see the maximum of the points, okay, are of 2 lines or simply 1 line. Okay. Why we have done it is because unlike the other notes where you have to read, you have to understand, and based upon that you have to make your own notes using the keywords. For X factor आपको यही से पढ़ना है, as it is आपको पेपर में लिखना है. That is the philosophy that we have followed, where you don't even need to rationalize or you don't even need to concise the content that you are reading. All you have to do is you have to read it as it is and you have to write it as it is. ठीक है, so जो irrelevant content बाकी materials में होता है where you only pick the keywords, that is not the case with the X factor, and that is why we suggest कि it's very difficult to make the notes out of X factor also, because X factor itself is the notes. ठीक है, इससे छोटा आप क्या ही बनाओगे. What else? For example, the theme is Indian Constitution as the bag of borrowings. ठीक है. So the criticism of Indian Constitution as a bag of borrowings. You can get a 10 marker question where they can ask you, do you agree with the view that Indian Constitution is a bag of borrowings rather than the unique material or the unique constitution on its own, or rather than the original constitution on its own. Okay, so basically you will be giving arguments in favor and arguments against. Now the points are so small. Okay, even there is the substantiation. For example, in arguments in favor, specific points from the Lakshmikant are given, but in arguments against, if you see the points, so you have the scholar Ambedkar quote, and every point is substantiated. So for this, so we have given 5 examples. Okay, then unique synthesis, again the example. Here also you can find the example. Okay, then many provisions are aware of Indian origin. They are also example. So the every point that you are getting is properly substantiated. आपको एग्जाम में भी exactly यही लिखना है. ठीक है. So you don't even need to make any other notes other than the X factor. X factor से आपको दूसरे notes बनेंगे ही नहीं. All you have to do is you have to read as it is and you have to write as it is. So इसका फायदा क्या होता है कि during this time between prelims and mains, so आपका notes making का time जो होगा that will be cut short. आपको notes making करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. And that extra time that you are getting, that time you can give for the answer writing. ठीक है. So that is the prime reason why you should shift to the X factor notes immediately. ठीक है. Now if we go topic wise, तो जैसे this is the first topic. ठीक है. So this is the nature of the constitution. अब यहीं पे आपको पता चलेगा the scope of the topic, what questions they ask from the nature of the constitution. So अगर आप देखोगे तो in 2025 itself you had a question on constitutional morality. Constitutional morality is the fulcrum which acts as essential check upon the high functionaries and citizens alike. Then constitutional perspective of gender justice. Then this constitutionalization of environmental problems. So these two are of similar nature, only here they have asked gender justice, here environment. Then constitutional morality again repeated. So themes. Okay, so if you see these questions, you will see a pattern. Okay, that they are asking a question on the constitutional perspective or the case laws related to the different sections, be it gender, be it environment. Based upon that, once you find the pattern, you can predict the questions. They can ask you with respect to the tribals, they can ask you with respect to the children, they can ask you with respect to any other vulnerable sections like transgenders, they can ask you with respect to the person with disability. ठीक है. Second is constitutional morality. आपका 4 साल में 2 बार आ गया है, तो it can again come. ठीक है. तो ऐसा नहीं है एक बार पूछा है तो अगली बार वो पूछेंगे नहीं. As it is getting repeated, you have to cover that also, right? So based upon this prediction or analysis of the pattern itself, we have covered all the relevant content in the X factor. अब constitutional morality आपका common theme है, तो you know that almost everyone is going to write the question related to the constitutional morality. ठीक है. So in such type of the questions where everybody is attempting that particular question, you need to bring the uniqueness into your content so that आपका आंसर stand alone रहे. And for that itself, अगर आप देखोगे, ठीक है, so we'll go to the constitutional morality section. ये रहा आपका constitutionalism. So आपका constitutional morality पे आ गया है, तो similar theme आपका constitutionalism पे एक question आ सकता है, या फिर transformative constitutionalism में आ सकता है. So those also based upon that pattern we have covered. Then this is your constitutional morality. ठीक है. So constitutional morality, अब normal students what they will write, they will simply give you the definition that constitutional morality is the adherence to the core principles of the constitution, right? But that is not going to cut it, because out of 190 people are going to write the same इंट्रोडक्शन, तो इवेल्युएटर वैसे भी बोर हो जाएगा. So rather than that, what you will be writing, you will be giving the precise definition using the scholar. As per British classicist George Groth, constitutional morality is paramount reverence for the forms of constitution of the land. अब ये काफ़ी बड़ा भी नहीं है. This will also be 2 lines introduction, but it will be unique. ठीक है, अगर ये नहीं है तो alternative is you have the quote of Ambedkar. तो ये 2 चीज़ें आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल मोरालिटी के क्वेश्चन में आनी ही चाहिए. सो इफ यू आर गोइंग विद द डेफिनेशन इनटू द इंट्रोडक्शन, you can use this particular quote into the conclusion, right? And this is your X factor. So even if 100 out of 100 people are writing the same answer or the writing the answer of this particular question, only yours answer is going to stand out. Okay? And that is going to, that is the precise philosophy that we have followed up. जैसे the components of it all we have given. ठीक है, but even though that is the static theme, the recent current affairs related to that particular theme also we have covered. So recent news related to the constitutional morality. ठीक है, while introducing 130th amendment bill, so during that time the home minister used the word constitutional morality. So आपका ये भी क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. ठीक है, कि डू यू थिंक 113th amendment bill is basically with respect to the criminalization of politics, कि if the minister or the even prime minister or chief minister goes to jail for 1 month, they have to vacate their seat. ठीक है, so constitutional morality is fulcrum upon which the government is held accountable, discuss in context of 113th amendment bill. तो ये आपका क्वेश्चन इस साल आ सकता है. ठीक है, so for that also we have covered, right? So it's not just about the static, but even the current affairs related to the static themes. Okay, again, pillars of constitutional morality, while others are going to write these rule of law, institutional integrity, etc. But here also you will be bringing the X factor. George Groth in his book has described it as a rare and difficult sentiment involving these 3. So if they simply ask you the components of the constitutional morality, these 3 will give, and for other pillars you can simply use the diagram. Okay, again your answer will be different, unique and more enriched than others. ठीक है, सिमिलरली इफ वी गो टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, और जैसे मैंने कहा था कि पैटर्न वी फाउंड, दे हैव आस्क्ड केस लॉज एंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजंस रिलेटेड टू वुमेन एंड रिलेटेड टू एनवायरमेंट. सो बेस्ड अपॉन दैट वी कैन प्रेडिक्ट दैट कि एनवायरमेंट पे उन्होंने पूछ लिया, वी हैव गिवन दिस. जेंडर जस्टिस उन्होंने पूछ लिया, वी हैव गिवन दिस. और जैसे मैंने कहा कि दिस इज द ओनली डॉक्यूमेंट विच कवर्स बोथ स्टैटिक एज वेल एज द करंट अफेयर्स. तो जेंडर जस्टिस रिलेटेड उन्होंने जब व्हेन वी आर गिविंग द जजमेंट्स, वी हैव इंक्लूडेड इवन 2026 जजमेंट एज वेल. ठीक है, वेयर सुप्रीम कोर्ट द जया ठाकुर केस, सुप्रीम कोर्ट रिकॉग्नाइज्ड access to the menstrual hygiene as the fundamental right under Article 21. So even the current affairs is integrated. अब ये 2 पे ऑलरेडी उन्होंने पूछा है, तो based upon that we can expect SC judgment on children or SC judgment on tribal or SC judgment on minorities. तो इन पे वो पूछ सकते हैं. तो that is the predictive analysis we have done, and based upon that we have covered the topics. ठीक है, सिमिलरली when I say we have integrated static plus current affairs, so in salient features is basically with respect to the preamble. So for every provision of the preamble, ठीक है, so we have given you the detail of the static of the preamble. This is your X factor, where we have given specific these scholar names, because sometimes what UPSC does is UPSC asks a very static question. UPSC पूछ, जैसे in 2018 or 2020 they asked what are the conditions under which financial emergency can be imposed. Yeah, financial emergency neither was in news nor it was imposed in over 75 years of Indian history or independent Indian history. ठीक है, but फिर भी उन्होंने पूछ लिया. Similarly, they had asked a question on preamble. Do you think Constitution does not accept strict separation of power? Rather, it is based upon checks and balances. Okay, so separation of power again static theme. Or before 2018, they had asked a question with respect to what are the key provisions of preamble and elaborate upon them. Okay, so even the static question UPSC can ask, that also we have covered. So for this, you don't even need to go to the polity again. Even your static is covered here. Along with it, अब preamble में अगर आप देखोगे कि whether preamble is part of constitution or not, this is again X factor, and the meaning of every keyword in preamble. Similarly, preamble was in news majorly because there was a debate that whether secularism and socialism should be the part of the preamble or not. Okay, that was the current affairs related news. So that also debate on inclusion of secularism and socialism. Right? This was recently in news, so you can get a question on that. Discuss the recent debate surrounding the inclusion of or relevance of socialism and secularism under the preamble of Indian Constitution. That also you get the ready-made answers. Okay? This now. Okay? This now coming to the more specific topics or more important topics, federalism, fundamental rights, etc. तो अब ये आपका separation of power. ठीक है, अब normal student will simply give you the definition of the separation of power or will highlight the difference between separation of power and checks and balances into his introduction. But rather, your answer will be differentiated by others because of this specificity. You are mentioning Montesquieu, not just you are mentioning the name of him, you are also mentioning his book name as well as the year. Okay, derived from Montesquieu's spirit of laws, it divides power into legislative, executive and judiciary to prevent concentration and arbitrariness. अब कोई 3 लाइन का या फिर 4 लाइन का इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं हमने दिया है. ठीक है, बाकी इसमें आप देखो नोट्स में you will find 3 or 4 lines of the introduction. We have concised in such a way that exactly this can be your introduction. ठीक है, आपको उसको खुद से भी कंसाइज करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. ठीक है, this then ये fact, this is again Aristotle was the first to classify government into deliberative, ministerial and judicial, which laid the foundation of separation of power. So आपके आंसर में this you can put as the fact file or simply margin के along you can put a box and you can put this historical origin of the concept, या फिर इसको भी आप introduction बना सकते हो. Right? So this is the differentiating factor into your answer. Okay. Similarly, if we go to the more current related topics, if we go to the fundamental rights, okay, again fundamental rights में majorly the questions that they have asked in recent years is with respect to the first, basically they have asked you with respect to article 21 only, but यहाँ पे इन्होंने स्टैटिक भी पूछा है कि राइट टू मूवमेंट एंड रिसाइड थ्रू आउट टेरिटोरी इज फ्रीली अवेलेबल टू इंडियन सिटीजन्स बट नॉट एब्सोल्यूट. सो दिस इज कंप्लीटली स्टैटिक क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, जो आपके लक्ष्मीकांत में उसके रिलेटेड स्टैटिक है वही आपको लिखना है. बट द थिंग इज यू रन आफ्टर करंट अफेयर सो मच ड्यूरिंग द प्रीलिम्स एंड मेंस यू डोंट रिवाइज योर स्टैटिक, एंड विथ एक्स फैक्टर यू डोंट इवन नीड टू बिकॉज it has been covered in the X factor. Right, अब एक complete static question है, no current affairs related linkage. Second is with respect to right to privacy. So article 21, this is also expanding horizons of Article 21. So you know that the Article 21 is important. So the new Supreme Court judgments related to Article 21 that you need to cover. So यही पे अगर देखोगे तो fundamental rights, the features of it, again static part from Lakshmikant, you don't need to read Lakshmikant. Then limitations and criticism, same. Role of judiciary in interpretation of the fundamental rights. So that also, this itself can be your question. So that also we have covered. So the entire, the role of judiciary with respect to fundamental rights. You can see how we have classified, how they have expanded the scope of the existing documents or how they have created new rights only. ठीक है कि जैसे right to education, right to clean environment, ठीक है, और how they have struck down the unconstitutional laws, कि जैसे struck down section 66A for violating free speech. Similarly Navtej Singh Johar, similarly NJAC case also you can mention, which is the part of basic structure. So this is how we have given the classification of the Supreme Court interpretation of the constitutions. Then the criticism of it. And if you see, every point is substantiated with the example. ठीक है, so जो substantiation आपका part है, that is our prime focus in the X factor. आपको ऐसे ही लिखना है, ऐसे ही पढ़ना है और ऐसे ही जाके आंसर में लिखना है. You don't even need to change a word. ठीक है, that is the beauty of the X factor notes. ठीक है, similarly अब right to equality. So right to equality में what was in the news? It is the Uniform Civil Code. Right, so Uniform Civil Code was applied in Uttarakhand. Similarly, it has also been applied in Assam recently. Right, so जब तक ये notes बन रहे थे, that is in 2026 में, तब तक Assam वाला was not in news, but after that Assam का आ गया. ठीक है, so इसमें simply बस आपको add करना है. ठीक है, this year also you can again expect a question on Uniform Civil Code. So uska need, why there is need, again every point, जैसे equality under law, addressing social divisions, women empowerment, everything has been substantiated with specific example. ठीक है, so this is what makes your answers dense. So the need for it, the challenges in implementing it, and the सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट्स वे फॉरवर्ड. अब कोई भी क्वेश्चन पूछा तो आपका आंसर इसी पे आएगा. राइट, नाउ विद इन इक्वालिटी यू हैव द रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी, आर्टिकल 15 एंड आर्टिकल 16. अब यहाँ पे भी फॉर एवरी, इफ यू गेट अ क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी इज ऑल्सो इन न्यूज, फर्स्ट विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द SC रिकमेंडेशन फॉर सब कैटेगराइजेशन विद इन SC ST. राइट, सो उस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आपका क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. तो यहाँ पे आपका वही डायग्राम आएगा विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दी, आफ्टर द इंट्रोडक्शन यू कैन यूज दिस डायग्राम टू सेट द कॉन्टेक्स्ट और टू हाईलाइट इट्स ऑब्जेक्टिव. अगेन दिस विल बी द डिफरेंशिएटिंग फैक्टर इनटू योर आंसर. फिर ये ग्राउंड्स फॉर रिजर्वेशन, अगेन यू कैन यूज अ फ्लो चार्ट टू हाईलाइट दिस. इफ द क्वेश्चन इज ऑन ओवरऑल रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी, अगर क्वेश्चन आ गया कि द रिजर्वेशन पॉलिसी इन इंडिया नीड्स अ क्रिटिकल रिव्यू इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ changing social, economic and political contexts. ठीक है, if question comes in such a way and it is of 15 marker कि overall reservation पे पूछा, तो after the introduction you can use a flow chart and you can highlight the grounds of reservation first. ठीक है, first you highlight the grounds of reservation, then comes to the criticism of reservation. Right, so this is going to be the again X factor. SC ST historical injustice, OBC social educational backwardness, EWS economic deprivation, women gender discrimination, person with disability ensuring inclusion, accessibility and participation. Right, तो रिजर्वेशन सिर्फ आपको पता होगा OBC SC ST. ठीक है, बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम SC STs एंड OBC यू हैव EWS, ये भी आपको पता होगा. बट वुमेन रिजर्वेशन इन PR है, दिस एंगल मेजॉरिटी ऑफ यू विल मिस. Similarly, person with disability, the Rights of Person with Disability Act specifically asked for the reservation for the person with disabilities. ठीक है, और ये this was in news also specifically with respect to UPSC only, misuse of disability certificate, right? So in that context also you can get a question, right? This, or the reasons behind rising demand for reservation. Again, it was in news in context of Maratha demand or Maratha agitation for the OBC reservation. So these are the causes. Again, in description, rather than giving simple description, we have given you scholars. तो इनमें से 6 से 7 अगर रीजंस भी लिख दिया और 2 भी अगर स्कॉलर आ गए, then also you are going to get 0.5 extra than others, right? This, and then every point is substantiated with the relevant examples. Then these are the Supreme Court judgments. Then comes the reservation in promotions, ठीक है, उसके benefits, उसके challenges and उसका way forward. Again, if you can see, we have given the scholars there. Then subcategorization of OBC, ki this was again Devinder Singh case. It was in recent news. So in that context also you can get a question. Similarly, the need of subcategorization, challenges associated with it, and the overall जो reservation का way forward है, वही way forward आपका यहाँ पे आएगा. So basically the notes are prepared from the exam perspective, ठीक है, rather than giving you the GAN or giving you the in-depth analysis or preparing you for the PhD in that particular subject. What we have tried to do is, we have tried to ease your job of making the notes by providing you the ready-made notes which you have to read as it is and write as it is. Okay. Similarly, SC scheduled caste reservation. Okay. So here also if you see, this is the case in 2026. So the current affairs. Similarly, you can get a question on caste census because government announced that 2027 census will involve the caste enumeration. So caste census also, apart from the facts related to it, the analysis of it, that is the benefit or need of it. So why there is need in decision making, the outdated data, or only when you have the caste data, then only the subcategorization is possible. Okay, then it can help in reforming reservation policy, right? So these are all the specific keywords that you can use. And again, if you see, we have given total 10 points. Maximum you have to write is 6. So 3 पढ़ोगे तो अपने आप 6 आराम से याद आएंगे. ठीक है. Then the challenges, again, rather than simply giving the challenges, we have provided a proper classification. Political challenges, social challenges, legal challenges, administrative challenges. So even in exam you can go for the same classification. तो ऐसा ही आंसर लिखोगे, then your points will be more diverse than others. So basically whatever framework you apply to generate the points, using the same framework we have given the points. ठीक है. So exact same आपको उसी classification में आपको वहाँ पे भी actual answer लिखना है, and that classification itself is going to give you extra marks, right? Then the way forwards for advancing equity without deepening divisions. ठीक है. Then sedition law, again a short 1-pager notes. Specific data is there. NCRB 2023 report which was released in 2025. ठीक है. Again all the current affairs related data. So this data is going to enrich your answer. And again, whenever we are highlighting the need of it, if you see, the maximum points are properly substantiated with the examples. So need of sedition law, that is the justification of it, the criticism of it. And again, if you simply just go through the points, points are not at all generic. They are involving the specific keywords, or they are getting substantiated with specific data. If you see, so arguments against or the criticism of sedition law. ठीक है. Sedition पे भी आपका आ सकता है question, because again it is in news. So specifically for that, you can vagueness of subversive activities. Okay, so the term is not defined in BNS, allowing police to interpret legitimate protest as subversion. Okay, so this is how much specificity. So chilling effect on freedom of speech or chilling effect of dissent, the fear of life imprisonment silences the journalist, activists, citizens. Conviction rate, again specific data we have given, only 3% of the conviction rate is there, right? Then the history of it, that is it is the colonial law aimed to suppress the dissent. Okay, so critics argue section 152 of the BNS, which deals with sedition, is old wine in new bottle. Right, so rather than simply writing it is the colonial legacy, you can simply, rather than that, you can articulate it in a better way. A colonial baggage. So example, critics call it as the old wine in the new bottle. Old wine is your old sedition law, that is section 124. New bottle is section 152 of BNS. Right. So even your arguments or your language of your points also get improved with the X factor. So weaponization for political vendetta, then contradicts international laws and subjective tendency tests. Okay, so again burden of proof on accused. And lastly, way forward. Okay, again specific law commission recommendations, and these are the Supreme Court judgments. Like I said, here apart from the content depth, okay, so Supreme Court judgment may be specific judgments we have given, again वो भी बहुत lengthy नहीं है, ठीक है, and the uniqueness that is going to be in your answer, which is global best practice. ठीक है, अब ये 99% स्टूडेंट्स के आंसर में ग्लोबल बेस्ट प्रैक्टिस नहीं होगा विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द सेडिशन. इफ यू कैन पुट इट into your way forward. Okay, adopting the global best practice, UK abolished sedition in 2009. US has the clear safeguards in the form of clear and present danger test. ठीक है, यही पढ़ के you are going to get that extra 1 mark. So point is not about writing an answer, because sedition law related question everybody is going to write. Because the point is writing a good answer, and that much of the competition that UPSC has generated in recent years. If you see the answers of recent years toppers, they are basically each and every point that or argument that they put are substantiated, or their use of the keywords, and that is what we provide in the X factor. Similarly, अब आपका ये common right to privacy, ठीक है, so fundamental right, again rather than simply going with the Puttuswamy judgment with 90% of the aspirants will go, what you can do is you can start with the quote. Okay. Privacy is the constitutional core of human dignity, right? So rather than the Puttuswamy judgment, you can start with the quote. ठीक है, again कोई भी अभी तक मैंने इतने सारे कोड्स दिखाए, none of them are too bulky. ठीक है, we have taken care that quotes are simple and quotes are one liner. ठीक है, so that it will be easy for you to remember. ठीक है, this. Then even we have included the Constitutional Assembly debates on right to privacy. ठीक है, and बाकी तो फिर scope of right to privacy after Puttuswamy judgment, this itself can be your question, basically the Supreme Court judgments. Okay. And then significance, again we have classified as per the framework using the pestle. So political significance, economic, social, technological, legal significance, and global significance. Okay. So even if they ask you a simple question as to give the importance of right to privacy, there also with this classification you can ensure the diversity in your points, so that what duplication of points wouldn't happen. and same with challenges, right? This, and these are the reasonable restrictions put, and then way forward. Okay, this and global best practices. Okay, so EU GDPR and the specific provisions of it. Okay, now based upon that, the further expansion of Article 21 is the digital rights. So you can again get a question on with respect to the digital rights under Article 21. That also we have covered. Okay, same thing. Again, key data on Digital India. Okay, this data also you can use. Okay, what is the significance of digital or need for digital rights in India? Simply put that data. Okay. Similarly, this, और again कोई भी आप अगर point देखोगे तो minimum 8 to 9 points we have given. Okay, then this is the current affairs, personality rights. It was involved in October or November 2025. So this also gets covered. इस पे 10 marker question आ सकता है और इसका notes भी देखोगे तो majorly 1 pager notes is there. ठीक है, खत्म. Then defamation. Again it was a common theme that UPSC can ask. ठीक है, this. So again 1 single pager notes. Criticism, way forward, खत्म. Phone tapping. ठीक है, this. Supreme Court judgments and freedom of press. Okay, so this year you can get a question on freedom of press because of the criticism with respect to the media, right? So आप पे भी press freedom index का specific ranking we have given, right? This. So the point is, in terms of comprehensiveness, X factor are unmatched. Okay. In terms of depth, X factor are unmatched. And in terms of coverage, also the maximum dimensions or the maximum topics you will find only in the X factor. Okay. This now, कुछ next topic that is जिस पे आपका definitely question आएगा ही आएगा, which is federalism. Again, if you see, each and every year you have question on federalism. So from 2018, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25. Again, if you see all the questions on which PYQ has been asked and even the current affairs has been covered in the federalism topic. Of federalism ke bhi, if you see the specific scholar views we have given, ठीक है, इतने हमने इसलिए दिए because you will be using it depending upon the question that they ask. If they ask you with respect to the cooperative federalism, what are the features of cooperative federalism, so you will go with the Greenwell-Austin introduction. But if they ask you with respect to the competitive or confrontational federalism, you can go with quasi-federal, Casey Ware. या फिर if they ask you ये वाला question, where Indian constitution, how far do you think cooperation, competition, confrontation? Okay, all three aspects they have asked. So in that case, you will go with Rajiv Bhargava introduction. He calls Indian federalism as multi-layered federalism. What are the multi-layers? Cooperation, competition, confrontation. Okay, so this is going to be the most relevant introduction into that particular question. Okay, so based upon the theme of the question, your quote is also going to be precise. Unlike pre-prepared 1 or 2 quotes जो आप लिख के आते हो, which are not related to the theme of the question. ठीक है, that. Then apart from key features, all the themes related to the framework or all the themes related to the federalism, जैसे significance of federalism we have covered कि under pies. ठीक है, similarly asymmetric federalism, ठीक है, so vertical and horizontal and fiscal. अब फेडरलिज्म के रिलेटेड अगेन इश्यूज, पहले भी हमने पाइज यूज़ किया था, यहाँ पे भी पाइज है. सो यू हैव दी सिंगल फ्रेमवर्क दैट यू विल बी यूजिंग ऑन एनी क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू द फेडरलिज्म, राइट. एंड वे फॉरवर्ड भी अगर देखोगे तो स्पेसिफिक वे फॉरवर्ड्स आर देयर विच आर द रिकमेंडेशंस ऑफ कमिटीज और विच इन्वॉल्व्स ग्लोबल बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस. दिस इज व्हाट गोइंग टू एनरिच योर आंसर्स. ठीक है. और देखोगे तो एंटायर असिमेट्रिक फेडरलिज्म वी हैव कवर्ड इन 2 पेजेस. तो बहुत बड़ा भी हमने कवर नहीं किया है इसको, राइट. व्हाई? बिकॉज आवर फिलोसॉफी इज to give you the content that you can directly write as it is. So because of that points का length भी छोटा है, but the coverage is broader. ठीक है. This. Then the current affairs related news. So cooperative federalism again category wise we have classified. Legislative domain में cooperative federalism, executive domain में, fiscal domain में, institutional domain में, in interstate council, zonal council. Now imagine if they ask you the question on the cooperative federalism, and there you provide this kind of the classification. So even if everyone is writing the same points on, everyone is covering all the important dimensions, you are still going to get 0.5 extra because you are providing a proper classification or precise classification. Okay, because this classification is going to is the job of the evaluator. He will automatically know, okay, he has covered the points on all the dimensions. Okay. Similarly, the major issues same: political, legal, financial. Okay. Then state specific, we have given you the list of the issues which you can use as the examples. ठीक है. इसके बियॉन्ड आपको चाहिए क्या? ऑन द सेम लाइन्स कॉम्पिटेटिव फेडरलिज्म, अगेन सिग्निफिकेंस, चैलेंजेस, वे फॉरवर्ड. ठीक है. देन बेस्ड अपॉन आवर एनालिसिस यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन द कॉम्पिटेटिव सब फेडरलिज्म. सो कॉम्पिटेटिव फेडरलिज्म ऑलरेडी उन्होंने पूछा है, कोऑपरेटिव पूछा है, कन्फ्रंटेशनल पूछा है. सो दिस ईयर दे कैन आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन ऑन व्हाट इज कॉम्पिटेटिव सब फेडरलिज्म. दैट इज, it's not just the states that are competing against each other, it is the cities or the local bodies that are competing against each other. So that also we have covered, right. This, then fiscal federalism, okay, revenue sharing and everything. So within fiscal federalism also the recent changes, we have given you the graph, and I can bet you in fiscal federalism in none of the material in the market you will find this graph. ठीक है. Fiscal federalism is again in the news in context of 16th Finance Commission. तो आपका क्वेश्चन वहीं पे बन सकता है कि in context of 16th Finance Commission, तो आपका ऑटोमेटिकली ग्राफ आ जाएगा, राइट. और 16th Finance Commission की ये रिकमेंडेशन आपके यहाँ है. ठीक है. सो विद इन फेडरलिज्म दे कैन आस्क यू हाईलाइट द सेंटर स्टेट फाइनेंशियल रिलेशंस इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ 16th Finance Commission. आ गए आपके पॉइंट्स एक जगह पे ही है. सो दीज आर द रिकमेंडेशंस, दीज आर द इशूज, दिस इज द स्कॉलर व्यूज, दिस इज द सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट, दिस इज द वे फॉरवर्ड. इसी स्ट्रक्चर में आपको लिखना है, यही आंसर लिखना है, नथिंग एल्स. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली जो स्कूल में हम करते थे कि बुक से पढ़ के जाओ, एग्जैक्टली वही याद करके लिखना है, विच वॉज नॉट एप्लीकेबल इन यूपीएससी टिल नाउ इज गोइंग टू बी एप्लीकेबल नाउ with the X factor notes. ठीक है. this बाकी भी ऑफिस ऑफ गवर्नर, अगेन यू कैन start with the quote rather than article. So powers are properly classified, the recent case studies which you can use as the examples. Okay. Then Supreme Court judgments in detail, recommendations of various commissions, then interstate council. Okay. Even the interstate water disputes, again this is the important theme on which you can get a question, right. और इसके related भी अगर आप देखोगे तो the current affairs, here we have given you the map. ठीक है. with respect to the disputes, so you can simply highlight the disputes. और उसके related भी this is the bill on which you can get a question, right? Then border disputes, again border dispute के लिए we have given you the map also, ठीक है? So rather than simply highlighting the border disputes between the states, if you can put the map and highlight the disputed areas, ठीक है, that is going to make your answer more creative, right? Then successful case studies, अब ये हमने क्यों टॉपिक दिया है यहाँ पे कवर किया है, बिकॉज असम अरुणाचल नामसाई डिक्लेरेशन रिड्यूस नंबर ऑफ डिस्प्यूटेड विलेजेस फ्रॉम 123 to 86 and this was done in February 2026. So this was in news. So based upon this context you can get a question this year, right? तो वो आपको यहीं पे बस कवर मिलेगा, ठीक है? Similarly 7th schedule, there was a debate with respect to the revision of 7th schedule also, so that also is covered. So if you see even in the federalism topic, okay, then president's rule, again with respect to the everything that is recent we have covered. फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी, अब इस पे ऑलरेडी क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, आने के चांसेस कम है, तो इसलिए देखोगे तो नॉट इवन 1/3 ऑफ द पेज, बट ब्रीफली वी हैव कवर्ड because we had to cover static plus current affairs both, so that X factor becomes your single source, right? This again national emergency, okay? So this is how we have covered. Then within executive also, so if you see attorney general 2 बार question आ चुका है, then growth of cabinet system or with respect to the office of or executive powers by governor. So in that context what we were expecting a question on is the role of prime minister's office, PMO. So अगर उनको executive पे question पूछना है this year, they can go with the question on the PMO. So we have covered the key functions of PMO, major criticisms of it and way forward of it. Okay, on the similar lines, should India adopt the presidential form of government? It was also in news in context of the book of Shashi Tharoor. Okay, so again the arguments in favor and arguments against. Okay, then the major news that was in the news was with respect to the presidential reference under Article 143 with respect to the Article 200 and 201, right? तो वो भी we have covered in the recent context, ठीक है, with respect to Article 200, 201, तो उसका भी the specific articles, उसके related important judgments, ठीक है, then significance of 143, major issues way forward, ठीक है, question आएगा तो भी इसी पे आएगा, इसके beyond तो नहीं आएगा, तो current affairs also, then Supreme Court judgment itself on executive powers of governor and president, ये भी we have covered, ठीक है, then council of ministers briefly and cabinet, and then the recent constitution 130 bill, which basically under which the ministers or prime minister or even chief minister has to resign from his office if he is jailed for more than 30 days. So key provisions, the significance of it, criticism of it, way forward. ठीक है, so 130th constitutional amendment bill पे भी आपका question आ सकता है, तो that also you will find here. ठीक है, so even the static topics like council of ministers, cabinet to current affairs, everything you will find consolidated here only. ठीक है, सिमिलरली अब पार्लियामेंट में भी देखोगे तो मैक्सिमम आपके क्वेश्चंस आए हैं पार्लियामेंट पे, एक पेज तो आपके पार्लियामेंट के क्वेश्चन पे ही है, एंड एवरी ईयर यू आर गोइंग टू गेट क्वेश्चंस ऑन पार्लियामेंट. तो फॉर दिस ऑल्सो टू गिव यू द स्पेसिफिक कंटेंट with respect to parliament, again quotes, this is the common diagram which you can use in all the questions related to parliament. Then major issues, if you see, we have given you these many of the graphs, okay, specific data, okay, related to all the important themes on the parliament. Okay, so even if others will also write the question on the parliament, you will be the only one having the specific diagrams or specific graphs and specific datas, right? This, ठीक है. सिमिलरली पार्लियामेंट्री सोवेरेनिटी, इस पे भी क्वेश्चन आया था. रोल ऑफ राज्यसभा, ठीक है. रोल ऑफ प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर, एंटी डिफेक्शन लॉ, अगेन इट वाज इन न्यूज़, तो इस पे भी आ सकता है, ठीक है. पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेजेस, अगेन दिस वाज आल्सो इन न्यूज़ फॉर द लास्ट 2 years in context of Mahua Mitra office of profit case or the disqualification of the members for breach of privilege. So all those are covered, ठीक है. तो beyond X factor you won't find anything that is relevant, ठीक है. सो कोडिफिकेशन ऑफ पार्लियामेंट्री प्रिविलेजेस, यही क्वेश्चन आपका बन सकता है कि डू यू थिंक देयर इज नीड फॉर कोडिफिकेशन. सो अगेन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स इन फेवर, आर्ग्यूमेंट्स अगेंस्ट. सो रेडीमेड आपको बेसिकली वी आर गिविंग यू द रेडीमेड क्वेश्चंस एंड आंसर्स ओनली, ठीक है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको ये पढ़ना है एंड बेस्ड अपॉन दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग यू नीड टू जनरेट द कंटेंट इन द आंसर्स, ठीक है. ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज यू हैव टू रीड, क्वेश्चन भी इसी फॉर्मेट में आएगा और आपको लिखना भी इसी फॉर्मेट में, ठीक है. सो दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ द एक्स फैक्टर, ठीक है. दिस, so all the major topics. So before I move on to the governance, so I want to show, ये हो गया आपका parliament. So after the parliament, one more important topic is with respect to the elections in India, ठीक है. अब elections में भी the major theme that you get a question on is the disqualification of the members, right. So अगर देखोगे तो 25 you have correct practices, 24 is also again with respect to the electoral reforms, ठीक है. 22 again you had a question on electoral disputes, ठीक है, और representation of people act. Again you had question on the disqualification, ठीक है. In 2019 again you had a question on disqualification, ठीक है. Again this is basically related, undue influence and all basically related to the disqualification provisions only, ठीक है. So majority is related to that. So यहाँ पे भी देखोगे तो again we have given you quote specific articles of the constitution, important data with respect to the elections. अब ऐसा आपको compiled data कहीं पे नहीं मिलेगा. All you have to do is you have to make a fact file and you have to put at least 3 of the data points. वहीं पे आपके 0.5 extra marks बन जाएंगे, right. So this is how you need to utilize the X factor. Then specific provisions of Representation of People Act 1950. अब basically the SIR exercise has been conducted under RPA 1950, ठीक है. So 1951 पे तो बहुत उन्होंने पूछ लिया है with respect to disqualification. Again 4 बार पूछ लिया है लास्ट 8 साल में, तो अगले साल भी पूछ सकते हैं, ठीक है. So that also we have covered. But secondly, as SIR is in news this year, they can go with what are the key provisions of Representation of People Act 1950, ठीक है. That also you have here, ठीक है. Then 51, these are the specific provisions. So there is no question of having any confusion, because they have asked you the specific what are the corrupt practices or what is the process of disqualification, etc. ठीक है. So this clearly establishes all the sections. इसको अच्छे से आप याद रखोगे और इसको अच्छे से पढ़ोगे तो there is no question of the confusion, right. This then Election Commission of India, again, ठीक है. This model code of conduct, again what question that you can get on model code of conduct is with respect to the objectives of it, limitations of it, or you can get a question whether model code of conduct should be legalized in India, ठीक है. बेसिक बाकी नोट जो होंगे वहाँ पे मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट के प्रोविजंस होंगे, उसके सिग्निफिकेंस होगा, उसका क्रिटिसिज्म होगा, ठीक है. बट क्वेश्चन यूपीएससी क्या पूछेगा कि वेदर इट शुड बी लीगलाइज्ड और नॉट. तो अगेन आर्ग्यूमेंट्स इन फेवर, आर्ग्यूमेंट्स अगेंस्ट, उसमें भी we have given you specific law commission recommendation and the scholar view. So even if others are also writing it, they won't be having this X factor into their answer, which only you will have. और कम से कम एटलीस्ट इतना करो कि जिस भी एक्स फैक्टर में आपको बॉक्स जहाँ पे भी दिखेगा, दैट मीन्स दैट इज एक्स फैक्टर, और वो आपके आंसर में रहना ही चाहिए. ठीक है, और इसीलिए हमने उसको बॉक्स में स्पेसिफिकली रखा है टू एनहांस द विजिबिलिटी ऑफ इट. ठीक है. दस सिमिलरली क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स, ऑल द स्पेसिफिक डेटा पॉइंट्स आर हियर. ठीक है. सो क्रिमिनलाइजेशन ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स कोई भी क्वेश्चन आ जाए तो यू हैव दी 5 स्पेसिफिक डेटा पॉइंट्स. ठीक है. देन यू हैव दी डायग्राम. ठीक है, विच अगेन it is going to bring in the innovation into your answer. Okay, you have the graph 2009 to 2024. Okay, what else do you need to write a very good answer? Okay, so only thing, if you consolidate this content, ठीक है, और अगर देखोगे तो बहुत बल्कि और या फिर बहुत हेवी एज सच नहीं है. हेवी है बट नॉट बल्कि. So you need to give time to this and you need to read it properly and then you need to write as it is. ठीक है. So इसके X factor का at least even if you have 2 revisions before your exam and couple with if you practice at least 8 mock tests, that is going to be sufficient to clear the mains. And I am saying this very responsibly. ठीक है. एक्स फैक्टर आपका 2 बार पढ़ के होना चाहिए. ठीक है. इट्स कम्प्लीटली फाइन इवन इफ यू डोंट हैव द नोट्स. अगर नोट्स बनाने भी है आपको उस पॉइंट किसी भी टॉपिक के, तो सिंपली यू मेक द नोट्स ऑफ एक्स फैक्टर पॉइंटर्स की डेटा, एग्जाम्पल्स, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट्स, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस, कोट्स और हाँ कोट्स. ठीक है. तो यही 5 चीज़ों यू जस्ट कंपाइल ऑन टू दी 1 पेज. सो बिफोर द एग्जाम यू कैन रिवाइज दैट. और इन द एक्स फैक्टर ओनली फॉर एवरी टॉपिक, सो वट एवर पॉइंट्स यू फील शुड बी इंक्लूडेड इन टू योर 1 पेजर नोट्स, यू हाईलाइट इट विद द डिफरेंट कलर. ठीक है. सपोज आपने नॉर्मल आपके एक्स फैक्टर आर हाईलाइटेड इन ग्रीन, तो यू पिक अ डिफरेंट पिंक कलर और एनी अदर कलर एंड यू हाईलाइट दोज पॉइंट्स in that color, so that even if you don't get time to make the notes, exam के पहले only that part you can revise quickly. ठीक है. So without having the short notes, even if you highlight the parts with the different color, exam के 1 दिन पहले आपका ये पूरा एक्स फैक्टर 3 घंटे में आराम से रिवाइज हो जाएगा. ठीक है. So that if you have limited time, focus more on the answer writing. ठीक है. आपके मार्क्स आंसर राइटिंग से ही आएंगे. नोट्स बनाने से आंसर इंप्रूव नहीं होते हैं. कंटेंट कंसोलिडेशन करने से और प्रैक्टिस से ही आपके आंसर्स अच्छे बनते हैं. ठीक है. सो दैट इज वाई जस्ट पिक द एक्स फैक्टर, गो थ्रू इट थरोली, हाईलाइट इट प्रॉपरली एंड यू आर गोइंग टू गेट द क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द सेम. तो इवन स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिविजन. ठीक है. ऑब्जेक्टिव, हिस्ट्री ऑफ इट, the legal provisions related to it, data related to it, the justification of it, challenges related to it, Supreme Court judgment related to it, way forward related to it. अगर देखोगे तो एंटायर 2 पेज भी नहीं होगा. तो ये पेज का आपका एंड में स्टार्ट हुआ है, स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिविजन. सो दिस इज 1/3 ऑफ द पेज, दिस इज 1 एंटायर पेज एंड दिस इज नॉट इवन 1/3 ऑफ द पेज. तो पूरा SIR एक्सरसाइज का डिटेल्ड वी हैव गिवन यू इन लेस देन 2 पेजेस. ठीक है. सो इवन इफ दे आस्क यू 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन, यू हैव द कंटेंट टू राइट. इवन इफ दे हैव 10 मार्कर क्वेश्चन, यू हैव द कंटेंट टू राइट. ठीक है. दिस सो एवरीथिंग ऑन विच UPSC कैन आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन, वी हैव ट्राइड टू कवर इट. द प्रॉक्सी वोटिंग. ठीक है. देन हेड स्पीचेस इन इलेक्शंस, again the specific data that is from January 2026. ठीक है. legal provisions, reasons, impact, steps taken by government, Supreme Court judgments, way forward. ठीक है. इसके बियॉन्ड वो पूछेंगे ही नहीं. opinion poll, exit polls. Again, before 2018 they had asked one question. So objective of it, issues, way forward. Then disqualification of the candidates. इस पे आपका 4 बार क्वेश्चन आ गया है. तो grounds for disqualification, grounds for declaring election void, procedure, ठीक है, detailed procedure. Then the recent examples or the major examples, remedial measures available, challenges related to legislative disqualification, and way forward. Law Commission recommendation, Election Commission own recommendation, Parliamentary Committee recommendations, second ARC recommendation, Supreme Court judgments. ठीक है, अब disqualification question 4 बार आ चुका है. Only based upon the content of these 2 pages you can address all the 4 questions. ठीक है, so entire topic, ठीक है, which is the most repeated topic in the UPSC has been covered in 2 pages, and all the questions you can address only through these 2 pages. What else do you need? ठीक है, that. Similarly, now coming to the party system, अब इस पे भी आपका क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, right? और the topics which are generally neglected or for which you generally don't get the notes, ठीक है, are the constitutional bodies, ठीक है. So this is your constitutional body. Every year you have one question. So each and every constitutional body we have given you 1-pager notes. So GST Council composition, major achievements, again data, उसके related issues, way forward, खत्म. CAG, the court with which you will start, constitutional provisions, powers and functions, ठीक है. Then significance, again specific examples are there. Challenges, these are the case studies, way forward. ठीक है, even in the case studies we have tried to incorporate the recent one and the major ones. तो बाकी आपको सिर्फ पता होगा 2G spectrum या फिर coal scam का, but the recent CAG reports with respect to direct tax deductions, Ayushman Bharat, scholarship audits, Indian Railway वाला, these are going to be the unique examples that you are going to put, because these are the recent one also. Then way forward, क्योंकि CAG पे अब आपका 2 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, ठीक है. So third time can also come. This year they can ask you with respect to the powers of CAG to audit the local bodies. So that also we have covered in a brief. So even if they ask you question on this, you have the content ready. ठीक है. Then the comparison वाले में भी they can ask you, because the office of CAG is taken from UK. So they can ask you compare and contrast the powers of CAG in India and UK. ठीक है, तो that also you get it covered. And then recent initiatives by CAG. So as an example you can use. Similarly UPSC. ठीक है, so recent in news related to the UPSC in context में आपका क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. तो key powers and functions, major issues, way forward, खत्म. इसके beyond आपका आएगा भी नहीं क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, फाइनेंस कमीशन, again key powers, functions, major achievements, limitations, way forward. ठीक है, तो almost every major constitutional and statutory body we have covered. नीति आयोग, अब last year नीति आयोग completed 10 years, so this year you can expect a question on नीति आयोग. ठीक है, so नीति आयोग and planning commission, ये difference already पूछा है, फिर से पूछ सकते हैं. Then functions, again every function has been substantiated with the example. Achievements of नीति आयोग, ठीक है, criticism, way forward. ठीक है, similarly national commission for SC ST and backward classes, ठीक है, same. ठीक है, these are the recent news or major achievements हर किसी के, because anyway you are going to have powers and functions. So अगर आपने लक्ष्मीकांत भी पढ़ लिया तो वहाँ से भी मिल जाएगा. But what you won't be having is this part, the recent initiatives or recent case studies which you will be using to substantiate your points. So you don't even need to read your standard book. Everything is covered here. along with static, this is the current affairs. ठीक है, similarly way forward. Then linguistic minorities, ठीक है, National Human Rights Commission or State Human Rights Commission, ठीक है, everything. Even in State Human Rights Commission we have given you the global best practices. ठीक है, National Commission for Women, again major powers and functions and examples we have given of recent case studies. ठीक है, these are the again major case studies. Way forward. National Commission for Minorities, ठीक है, ये then Central Information Commission. All the bodies again are covered. Last topic is comparison of the Constitution. Again आपका आएगा तो भी इसी से ही आएगा, because every year you are going to get a question. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Each and every year you have one of the question. ठीक है, तो ये भी टॉपिक. एंड मेजरली अगर देखोगे इंडिया, यूएस, यूके, फ्रांस, तो तीनों का वी हैव गिवन इन लेस देन 10 पेजेस. ठीक है, तो आपको इंडिया यूएस सिमिलैरिटीज पहले, देन कंपैरिजन ऑफ जुडिशरी, comparison of executive, similarities, differences, comparison of legislature, similarity, differences. ठीक है, then comparison of secularism, similarly comparison of federalism. इस पे आपका क्वेश्चन आ सकता है. Both similarities, differences are there, right? Then India UK similarities, major differences, then judiciary, then parliamentary privileges. तो इन्हीं पे आपके क्वेश्चंस बन सकते हैं. फ्रांस अगेन सेम. ठीक है, सो बियॉन्ड दिस यू डोंट इवन नीड टू रीड एनीथिंग एल्स. ठीक है, सेम गोज विथ अ पॉलिटी, बिकॉज द वेटेज ऑफ पॉलिटी इज मोर, राइट? यू गेट एटलीस्ट 7 to 8 questions from polity itself. ठीक है, सो बिकॉज ऑफ दैट much of the weightage we have covered each and every major news that is there, or each and every important theme that you can expect in mains in X factor. So this is the only source which covers or which integrates both your current affairs and static. And same goes with governance. अगर देखोगे तो it is also on the same lines and it is only of 81 pages. ठीक है, तो गवर्नेंस का इससे छोटा और इससे comprehensive material you won't even find anywhere in the market. And all the themes related governance, ठीक है, be it citizen charter, be it that prevention of unfair means act, or again citizen charter, everything is there. ठीक है, so evolution of governance in India, World Bank's worldwide governance indicators, then what is good governance, core principles of it. Each and every core principle is substantiated with example. Then issues, again issues we have properly classified under the subheadings, or the framework is simple. Good governance के जो points है उन्हीं के issue लिखो. तो good governance pillars are your framework, right? Similarly, then way forward. Way forward may be again जो unique point मेरा था, you need to bring in the best practices. So we have given you the list of the state level best practices. इनमें से कोई भी आप यूज कर सकते हो. Similarly global best practices इतने दिए. ठीक है, all you have to put is one each, right? So even if you write one global and one state level best practices, your answer is going to get more marks, right? Then issues with government schemes. ठीक है, again these are classified under PESTEL. तो structural issues, this we have used staple. So structural issues, technological issues, administrative, economic, social. ठीक है, steps taken by government. Then citizen participation. For that, again all the examples. ठीक है, even the scholar and the theories. Then best practices. Then for transparency and accountability, again you have this diagram. ठीक है, कोई भी क्वेश्चन ट्रांसपेरेंसी अकाउंटेबिलिटी का बी इट इन GS2 और इन एथिक्स आपका आ जाए तो यू कैन यूज दिस, और ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट is substantiated with the example. And in governance we have also tried to classify the points under the major subheadings, ठीक है, so that आपका फ्रेमवर्क भी वही के वही कंसोलिडेट हो जाए, ठीक है. दैट सिमिलरली सिटीजन चार्टर 2 बार क्वेश्चन आ चुका है, तो एवरीथिंग we have given, even the data of the citizen charter also we have given, and as we have put it into the box, that means this is X factor, ठीक है. So each and every topic has been covered in detail. So citizen charter related भी आपके बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस वे फॉरवर्ड में कमिटीज, ठीक है. दैट सो सेवोत्तम मॉडल, सोशल ऑडिट अगेन इस पे भी आपका आ सकता है. तो मेजर सिग्निफिकेंस चैलेंजेस अगेन यहाँ पे भी देखोगे तो मेजरली वी हैव प्रोवाइडेड यू द क्लासिफिकेशन अंडर ब्रॉडर हेडिंग्स ओनली, राइट. दिस इज योर एक्स फैक्टर, ठीक है. सिमिलरली RTI अगेन कोट, you have diagram, ठीक है. this then recent data etc everything we have covered. again issues हो या फिर जो भी हो we have classified it under broader heading so that आपको पढ़ने में भी आसानी होती है और याद रखने में भी आसानी होती है, ठीक है. then the recent news कि section 44 of DPDP Act which undermines the RTI, so that also we have covered. अगर क्वेश्चन आया RTI पे तो इस पे आ सकता है करंट रिलेटेड, तो दैट ऑल्सो वी हैव कवर्ड, राइट. दिस अगेन ग्लोबल बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस वे फॉरवर्ड एंड सेकेंड ARC रिकमेंडेशंस, ठीक है. दिस सेम गोज विथ ई गवर्नेंस, ठीक है. तो अगेन 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 हर साल क्वेश्चन आया, मीन्स you are going to get question on this year also, ठीक है. तो all the themes that have been covered are there. ये diagram if the question comes for 15 marker on e-governance, intro के बाद आप ये diagram हर question में निकाल सकते हो कि the types of e-governance, ठीक है. then all the data related to the e-governance, everything we have compiled at the single point. तो आपका सब्सटेंशिएशन का इशू रहेगा ही नहीं. ऑल द डेटा वी रिलेटेड टू ई गवर्नेंस वी हैव गिवन यू इन वन पेज, ठीक है. तो इसके बियॉन्ड आपको डेटा लगेगा भी नहीं, ठीक है. दिस देन स्टेट लेवल ई गवर्नेंस इनिशिएटिव्स, बेनिफिट्स अगेन वी हैव गॉन फॉर द क्लासिफिकेशन, वी हैव यूज्ड द स्टेक होल्डर अप्रोच. सो बेनिफिट्स फॉर गवर्नमेंट, फॉर सिटीजन्स, फॉर बिजनेस, फॉर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, ठीक है. और जैसे आपका PYQ आया था यूज वैल्यू ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, दैट ऑल्सो वी हैव कवर्ड, राइट. इशूज ऑल्सो वी हैव यूज द पेस्टल, तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट वी हैव क्लासिफाइड, राइट. दिस देन वे फॉरवर्ड, देन सेकेंड ARC रिकमेंडेशंस, ई गवर्नेंस, देन रिलेटेड थीम्स कि डेटा गवर्नेंस. सो रादर देन ई गवर्नेंस नेक्स्ट ईयर दे कैन आस्क यू विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू द डेटा गवर्नेंस. So data governance also is there, and all the recent news related to it, key provisions of DPDP Act and all, ठीक है. Similarly mobile governance, ठीक है, the SMS and the mobile app governance, that question also you can get, वो भी covered है, ठीक है. So even then use of AI in governance, again that is the expected theme, so you got it covered. And AI regulation in India, ठीक है. That and these are the global best practice way forward. So even in e-governance, we haven't simply covered the basics of it. So apart from the current relevant news, we have gone into the detail of the analysis of that topic, and based upon the pattern of the previous year questions, we have identified the expected themes, and वो सारे हमने cover किए, ठीक है. सेम विथ डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस, डेवलपमेंट इंडस्ट्री, तो NGO रिलेटेड वगैरह क्वेश्चन. अभी यहाँ पे देखोगे तो गवर्नेंस के सबसे ज़्यादा क्वेश्चन इस टॉपिक से है, एवरी ईयर अब 2025 में ही 3 क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है, 21 में 3 क्वेश्चन है, 2019 में 3 क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है। तो हर साल एटलीस्ट एक क्वेश्चन आपका आता ही है या फिर 2 भी क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं इस थीम से, ठीक है। तो दैट इज ऑल्सो हैज बीन कवर्ड इन डिटेल्ड विथ मीनिंग ऑफ इट, देन डिफरेंट मॉडल्स ऑफ इट, की डायमेंशंस ऑफ इट, ठीक है, देन डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ इट, कि टॉप डाउन, स्टेट लेड और सिटीजन सेंट्रिक, ठीक है, वो, देन मेजर स्टेजेस, पॉलिसी फॉर्मुलेशन, इम्प्लीमेंटेशन, मॉनिटरिंग एंड crisis management. So just to give you the conceptual understanding of it, then India's achievement, political, social, economic, technological and infrastructural. So they can simply ask you the question, given analysis of India's achievements in developmental process, right, सारे achievements आपके properly classified है, then challenges also, economic, social, governance related challenges, right. So along with proper classification you have the maximum dimension coverage and you have maximum substantiation. Then way forward, along with the global best practices, scholar views, you also have the diagram, right. Then NGO, again apart from the data you have the diagram, ठीक है, this, and major issues, political, economic, social, technological, legal, environmental, again pastel, या फिर alternative is temporal framework also you can use, right. So ready made basically question answer format में ही we have covered even the governance. यहाँ पे भी अगर last topic आप देखोगे तो major करंट अफेयर्स रिलेटेड जो भी है और विच वी कैन पुट इनटू द मिसलेनियस, जैसे पेपर लीक वाला जो क्वेश्चन आया था आपका विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दैट एक्ट, सिमिलरली यू कैन गेट द क्वेश्चंस ऑन दीज फ्यू ऑफ द मिसलेनियस करंट अफेयर्स रिलेटेड टॉपिक्स, ठीक है। तो जैसे ऑनलाइन बेटिंग एंड गैम्बलिंग इंडस्ट्री, so it has been regulated in recent years, act भी आपका पास हो गया है, तो that again data, factors behind their growth, the challenges or the negative impact of it, legal provisions to the recent act and the major challenges in regulation, Supreme Court judgment, way forward. अब किसी भी डायमेंशन पे यूपीएससी को पूछने दो, you have got it covered. Similarly sports governance, अगेन उसके ऊपर भी एक्ट आपका पूछा है, ठीक है। सो रिसेंट न्यूज़ की प्रोविजंस, नेशनल स्पोर्ट्स पॉलिसी भी आपका आ गया है 25 में, यू कैन गेट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन दैट ऑल्सो, एंड मेजर इश्यूज वे फॉरवर्ड. Similarly, social media ban on minors. This was also in news. Indonesia has put a ban. Similarly, Karnataka announced plans. So, uska analysis also. ठीक है? That then land acquisition recent act. ठीक है? The report is there, so you can get a question on this also. Then census 2027. इस पे भी आपका एक स्टैंड अलोन क्वेश्चन सेपरेट बन सकता है. दिस देन सेंट्रली स्पॉन्सर्ड एंड सेंट्रल सेक्टर स्कीम्स, द रिसेंट चेंजेस दैट हैव बीन मेड, तो इन दैट कॉन्टेक्स्ट यू कैन गेट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन दिस ऑल्सो. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली ईच एंड एवरी थीम विच इज देयर इन स्टैटिक and each and every theme which is there in the current affairs, we have tried to comprehensively cover it. And that's the basic philosophy of X factor. So you simply make X factor as your primary source. And secondly, rather than making the notes out of it, you can simply highlight into the X factor, or even if you have time to make the notes, just compile these 5 things. Okay, quotes, then the framework of analysis, then data and examples, best practices and diagrams. यही 5 चीज़ें you can make one pager notes for every topic. वैसे भी X factor is also one pager notes itself. ठीक है? This you have to read. Second thing, you need to apply the visualization method. Now this is the most important part कि don't just do the passive reading. ठीक है, अब X factor के कंटेंट हमने ऐसे दिया है कि आपको एग्जैक्टली वैसे का वैसे लिखना है. दैट मीन्स what you have to do basically is whenever you are reading the X factor, you visualize the same point written in your answer sheet. ठीक है, so that visualization method will increase your consolidation of the content. ठीक है, because exactly आपको ऐसे ही लिखना है. So you visualize, okay, I am writing like this. Wherever I have given the diagram, you visualize, okay, I will draw a diagram like this. Wherever I have given the table and given the data, you visualize you are putting the fact file. Okay, so that visualization method will enhance your again greater consolidation and greater retention. Okay, so this is basically all from my side with respect to the X factor notes. And now for any doubts, you can directly reach out to us. Not widely explain, understand topic, but sometimes we need more explanation. That's the trade-off that we had to do. ठीक है, जैसे मैंने पहले ही कहा था, एक्स फैक्टर नोट से हमें आपको कोई PhD में नहीं कराना है. Neither we aim to make you any philosopher king. ठीक है, एक्स फैक्टर नोट्स आर prepared with the sole aim of making you IAS, not philosopher king, not academician or not a professor. ठीक है, तो मैक्सिमम चीज़ें वी हैव ट्राइड टू मेक इट सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी. एक आध दो चीज़ें अगर नहीं समझ आ रही है तो यू कैन जस्ट गूगल इट, वहाँ से समझ लो. ठीक है, ओके, ऑल राइट. सो दैट्स ऑल फ्रॉम माई साइड. डाउनलोड योर एक्स फैक्टर्स नाउ and explore the Smash Mains. Okay guys, good night.